yes, we have a lot to talk about with the Kathleen Kennedy big exclusive sit down that she did after the reports have been flying around for the past several days. Kathleen Kennedy decided to clear everything up by saying, "Hey, I'm not retiring. I'm just leaving." Oh, well, when are you going to be leaving? Well, in the next couple months, maybe about a year. Oh, assuming exactly what the report said. Got it.
Exactly.
Thank Kathleen Kennedy for clearing that up for all of us.
I just feel like she was a little angry. Like she is this like the first time she actually addressed these types of rumors? It seems like they've been around for some
100% it's
time.
the first time, because just like, to be real, this is the first time that really any legitimate stuff from like a people that the actual trades run with, that's the first time we've ever heard it there. Which is why she's never responded to any of it before, because none of it really gained traction outside of YouTube videos. But it's a little bit different story when the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and Variety and all of these things are reporting on your exit. Because that's exactly what we saw over the past couple days, even to the point where you had big articles in every one of the major trades talking about who could potentially replace her. And the initial report we got was, hey, Kathleen Kennedy, within the next year, is going to step down as president of Lucasfilm. And a lot of us talked about, yeah, she's finally ready to be done, finally ready to retire. I don't think any of us necessarily thought that all of a sudden she would never, like, be an active producer in movies like she has her whole life. But in terms of her job at Lucasfilm, president of Lucasfilm, that she would be stepping down from that role. Well, she did a big Q&A with a very friendly Mike Fleming Jr. with Deadline yesterday to clear some of this stuff up. Kathleen Kennedy speaks on her Lucasfilm plans. She is not soon retiring, and the films that will keep her in the Star Wars orbit for years to come. Now, the first entire several paragraphs of this are basically Mike Fleming Jr. complaining about Matt Boloney, who used to work for the Hollywood Reporter, and saying he's really mean to Kathleen Kennedy, and he shouldn't be, because she is the most successful female producer in history, and he should be more respectful of her instead of saying she's done a bad job with Star Wars. That's the entire way that this entire thing started. I admire Bologna's hustle and ability to turn over hard ground, but his penchant for defining industry people like Kennedy in disparaging ways, well, I just don't understand that. Kennedy would seem an unlikely target for ire in good times or bad. 13 years into her run steering Lucasfilm, she's done much with the challenge of trying to broaden George Lucas's Star Wars vision. Kennedy's arguably the most successful female producer / executive in Hollywood history. So this entire thing is a puff piece for Kathleen Kennedy.
100%.
Like that's 1,000% what this is. Sorry, Matt. The woman's a first ballot Hall of Famer, not someone who deserves to be batted around like a piñata. She also deserves to own her own narrative and demystify this pseudo drama. Okay, so
a lot of big words there.
Jay? What did we hear? That within the next year, that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be stepping back as president of Lucasfilm, and a successor is going to take her place. That was the report. Listen to this answer about how those reports are so wrong. We've read all these speculative reports that you're out, that there's a frenzy for the next person who's going to take over Lucasfilm. What's the truth? Kathleen Kennedy. The truth is, and I just want to say this loud and clear, I'm not retiring. I'll never retire from movies. I'll die making movies. That's the first thing that's important to say. I'm not retiring. What's happening at Lucasfilm is I've been talking for quite some time with both Bob and Alan about what eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people here and have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. Now, it seems to match up with that timeline, doesn't it? We're in lockstep as to what that's going to be, and I'm continuing. I'm producing Mandalorian right now. I'm also producing Sean Levy's movie, which is after that. So I'm continuing to stay at Lucasfilm and looking very thoughtfully with Bob and Alan as to who's stepping in. So that is all underway, and we have every right to make that announcement when we want to make it.
Yeah. It sounds like she's very, like I said, she sounds like she's angry that the news slipped somehow. That maybe like someone actually did get a hot scoop or a hot take and it got a puck news, whatever, but like that it got out. And she immediately is doing some sort of damage control, but she's saying the same thing.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe we weren't, I guess, clear enough when we were talking about this. Kathleen Kennedy stepping away from Lucasfilm. There's a difference between what she's and her husband Frank Marshall have been doing their entire lives and being involved in producing movies, versus specifically the job as president of Lucasfilm to dictate everything that happens under the Disney Star Wars Lucasfilm banner. Right?
She made that very clear in this article too.
Yeah, and maybe we weren't clear enough when we were talking about that initially. Yeah. I, for one, never thought that she was going to not be involved in the entertainment industry anymore, or with the properties that she's already attached as a producer to, that she would just suddenly walk away. Of course she wouldn't. She's been involved in all those things, and there's a monetary benefit to being involved in all those things, at least in theory.
Correct.
But this clarification is basically saying, hey, just so you know, I'm going to keep making movies until I die.
Till I die.
But I am planning to step away as president of Lucasfilm in the coming months up to a year, which is exactly what the fucking article said.
Correct.
Like that's exactly what the article said.
Again, I think it's her, like, I can't believe this thing got leaked. I'm still in charge. I want to do it on my terms, at like the last sentence. When we want to make it. I want to do it. I don't want some scooper to get it. So it's all about me. I'm Kathleen Kennedy. Don't you understand that?
Yeah.
I worked on Indiana Jones. Man, the paragraph in this article where she talks about Indiana Jones, because I am a massive Indiana Jones fan, is so insulting, I get, to me anyway, where I think she says it's cute. Like, oh, we got to work together with Steven again. That was fun. It's like you freaking wrecked the character. You destroyed Indiana Jones. I mean, like, we've talked a million times over on what she's done to Star Wars, but all the other Lucasfilm IPs as well. The fact that it's just nonchalantly like, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad we got to wreck another character for you guys. So,
yeah, really, and I think that, like, look, to be like really honest, I feel like this is going to go down exactly as we all expected. And that it's that she is going to have her successor. She's still going to be involved in a lot of things that they're making, things that she's been involved in making from before with those characters, just like a lot of producers do for fucking anything that's out there. And that Lucasfilm is going to continue to run the same way that it has under her, regardless of who ends up stepping in and filling this role. This is not Disney kicking her to the curb.
Yes.
Like, that's not what this is. That's never what it was going to be, which is why, at least I have been saying for a long fucking time, I know a lot of other people have as well, that even when she does eventually call it quits and says, I'm out as Lucasfilm president, nothing's going to change at Lucasfilm unless the entire company is fucking gutted.
Yeah, it's more the same. More of nothing, more of trash. I just want to get this quote correct. Kennedy says, "We loved coming back together, being able to work with Mangold on the indie movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That was a real treat. And to be working with Steven Spielberg, and as they say, getting the band back together, that was really fun. We had a blast." That's what she had to say about the destruction of Indiana Jones. We had a blast. It was really fun. We got the band back together. Thank you.
Yeah, but this entire report is them pretending like all of this, the report that was out was bullshit, when in fact all they're doing is confirming exactly what they said.
Exactly. It's so stupid. It's, yeah.
By the end of the year, they're going to find the successor, and Kathleen Kennedy is going to step back. The successor takes place. And these are the responses. As I said, nonstop for the last couple of years, I'm not going to be here forever. George asked me 13 years ago to step in, and now I'm looking at who's going to replace me.
Yeah.
As I said, we have a bunch of people internally to handle the business. How far down the road do you expect before a change gets made, and then you go off and produce these two big Star Wars things? We'll probably make an announcement months or a year out, and I have every intention of sticking around to help that person be successful. I'm already producing the Mandalorian movie, and Sean Levy's is after that. Like, hey, we have to come out and clear some things up about this report. The report, exactly what's happening in the report is happening, but we're not very happy that it fucking leaked out in the meeting to announce this.
She could have easily just said, I was really upset that it got leaked, but yes, we are looking for a successor. And it probably won't happen for a year or maybe a few months. But when it does happen, you better believe it will be me doing it and no one else. I just want to be perfectly clear. That sums up the article, honestly.
Oh, yeah. What was
the very last thing she says in the article? Me. It's my decision. This is 100% my decision. She wanted to make that clear 3 times over, I guess. Yeah.
2 final questions. Will you step out as Lucasfilm boss this year? We really don't know. There's so much going on, Mike. I don't know. When it happens, who will make the decision? Me. It's my decision. This is 100% my decision.
I guess you wanted to clear up those. Yeah, I'm being forced out. Kevin Feige's going to take over. Whatever is happening. So
now with all of that and with, the reality that she is still attached to produce so many things that they have in the works right now, the idea of Kevin Feige going in there as her successor with her still having a presence, I don't think that's happening.
Not even close.
Like,
it's going to be one of those.
I don't think they get along very well.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's going to be one of those women on that list. I am willing to bet my Bitcoin, which is failing right now, that's what will be. Maybe near the end of the year. And it might be one of those things where it's like Kathleen Kennedy named successor, but she's still going to be in charge for 5 years as she molds and grooms the next person to take over Star Wars. And then she'll do an interview and be like, "Yeah, I still participate in things, but not as much as I used to." Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, she's been a producer on all of the things that they've made, right? So she is still attached to those properties.
Yes.
Right? You see this stuff all the time in the industry, even like when people aren't, maybe they don't have a ton of actual input on some of the things that go on. If they had a role in creating one of these characters or part of this universe in movies prior, they are on there. They are attached. They are involved in whatever they go on to do with the future of those characters, right? We know that.
Correct.
And that's all of these Disney Star Wars characters for old Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. More of the same. Good job. What do you think Mando movie's going to do? You think it'll be $1 billion? Probably not, huh?
I have no idea what to expect. My gut instinct is somewhere like 500 or 600 million, but I don't know how much interest there is. I genuinely don't. Unless they pull out like Luke Skywalker and like make him a big part of the
man. Come on.
Like and make him a big part of the promotion. I don't know.
I 100% believe, and I could be wrong, which happens often, that the Trinity will be back in that film in some fashion.
I don't know if it'll be in that one, but I've said for forever that I think it'll be in the big whole Dave Filoni Mandoverse wrap-up movie that they do. Like the retarded Avengers assemble, basically, with like Ahsoka, Ezra, Bo-Katan, Mando, Fat Boba Fett. Like all these characters will come to unite with the parts of the New Republic who didn't listen to the bad men who were in charge, right, to face off against Thrawn. And at some point for about 10 minutes, you'll see Leia and Han and Luke, and they'll come in. Luke will be in an X-Wing, and Millennium Falcon will come in, and Han will say to Mando or to, Sabine. It'd be like, all right, kid, let's blow this place or whatever. And they'll land after there'll be a celebration. And Han will just look at him and be like, hey, I think it's time for us to hang it up. Looks like the universe is in good hands.
Yeah.
And like,
he said the thing.
Yeah. It'll be something like that.
It'll be
to put them
cheesy.
over.
Yeah.
100%.